Halito Chimachukma, this is Chief Steve coming at y'all with another episode of True Story. And it's been a while. It's been a good minute. Um, I'd like to say thank you to all of my subscribers. First off, we're at 151 solid. We made that 150 subscriber threshold on here. We passed through it. And I really appreciate you guys rocking with me since day one. And for those who had just got on board, especially during these times, because I've been a little busy. As you guys were notified in my last community post that I had to update my internet service and ultimately get a new router and everything just to get a stronger Wi-Fi connection in my home. So it's been pretty much a busy late February and March for myself and my family. Just, making proper adjustments and things, and had a couple of birthdays that passed. Like I said, I have 6 kids, as I stated before. So, out of the 6 kids, 3 of them had birthdays between late February and early March. So it's been a pretty busy couple of weeks. And then plus some other, things that have unplanned events that have happened, that I've been collecting information and data on. I'll be sharing with you guys later. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys for bearing with me, being patient. And as promised, here we are. True Story is back. We're going forward with a continuation of our characteristics and customs series, or customs and characteristics. I got to look on the titles and make sure that I label it right. But you guys know what it is. So we're coming out the same passage. And without further ado, let's get into it. Alrighty, y'all. Like I said, it's the same passage. The Indian races of North and South America, comprising an account of the principal Aboriginal races, a description of their national customs, mythology and religious ceremonies, the history of their most powerful tribes and of their most celebrated chiefs and warriors, their intercourse and wars with the European settlers, and a great variety of anecdote and description, illustrative of personal and national character, by Charles DeWolf Brownell, 1822 through 1909. Publication date 1864. So, as you saw in the thumbnail and the image that was just flashed, we're going to be getting into a little bit of the intrinsics of war. The intrinsics of war. So, bear with me again, and bear with the author, the writer, as this was written in a prior time, and some of the language may be a little sensitive, and maybe some may take it as offensive with the quality of detail that they give. But I'm going to do the best I can to break it down and give it to y'all in a way that it should be perceived today. All right. But everything is here in black and white. Like I said, my source is always archive.org. You see it right there in the toolbar. I'm just giving it to you as it is. So, I like to put my 2 cents on things as far as, give a little bit of my commentary. But for the most part, everything is coming out straight black and white from the text. And then I have a little bit of colorful illustrations that I've made via AI to the best of my abilities to kind of give y'all a better illustration of what things may look like on the physical. So you guys are going to see a little more imagery as we go on forward here. And I did my best to, not make anything too graphic or stuff like that. Plus, how AI is kind of censored right now. So it's kind of hard to do that stuff anyway. But either way, we're going to get into it. So let's go on up and start. We left off at chapter 2. We're going to be going into this paragraph. right here. All right, let's go, y'all. And like I said, forgive the language here and the yeah, they like to talk their stuff. You got to understand these were foreigners, and they were also part of. They had their own agenda. Let's just leave it that way. So they had their own opinions about us. But here we go. Divided into innumerable petty nations. See, nearly the whole Indian population lived in a state of insecurity from the constant hostility which prevailed between different tribes. And if you know our people, we're far from insecure or petty. Okay, some of us can be insecure and petty, but to describe all of our nations like that is foul. You already know it's not even like that. So strong a clannish spirit as they all exhibited has seldom been noticed in any country, and the bitterest hatred was inherited by every individual towards the members of an unfriendly tribe. And we even see that in our neighborhoods today, or at least, back in the day when, I was growing up in Long Beach, California. We had different hoods and different, families and stuff, and some didn't like each other, and he was from a different hood or from a different part of town, and that's just Southern California for you. It was that unnecessary yet bitter hatred that y'all have from history going way back, even stuff that wasn't even pertaining directly with individuals, but just because you were from this place or you were affiliated with this set of neighborhood, or you already know how that goes. So anyway, war, as in most nations, whether barbarous or enlightened, was ever esteemed the most honorable employment. The manner in which hostilities were conducted will appear by a detail of some of the more noted Indian wars, as given in the ensuing chapters of this work. The whole was a system of stratagem and surprise. Excuse me. A pitched battle in an open field was almost unknown, and greater honor was ascribed to the chief who, by a night attack, destroyed his enemies at a disadvantage and brought away their scalps in triumph without loss to his own people, than to deeds involving the greatest personal exposure. So they regarded the chiefs and the tribes that was able to go in, put in that work without losing any, casualties, and without having any casualties, and going forward, dismantling their opposition, usually while catch them off guard, as it just stated. They got more notoriety rather than the ones that was going for the glory and wanted to be, seen and exposed out front, and just wanted to make a bloodbath of everything, not regarding their own people, at least. So it says the remorseless cruelty with which women and children were destroyed in the heat of conflict has furnished a theme for many a tale of horror. So you already know, war back then, no regards for women and children. And you even see that in today's wars in different countries and stuff. You hear about it a lot, particularly a specific war that's going on now that I'm not even going to mention or talking about because it doesn't pertain to our people. So, yeah. But it's that's war for you. There's going to be losses there, and our tribes back then, they felt that, hey, we don't care. Women and children are not exempt to what's coming to this tribe, So it says, previous to a declaration of war against another tribe, the chief men and counselors of the nation were in the habit of holding solemn consultations accompanied by numerous fantastic ceremonies. So before they just go and wage war on somebody, they talk about it. They go through their ritual. We go through our ritual, and we make sure that this is the right thing to do before we fully declare war. When fully resolved upon hostilities, the first step was to secure the assistance of as many of the neighboring tribes as possible, for which purpose ambassadors were sent to set forth the advantages of the union and to cement a treaty by exchange of wampum. All right, so if y'all don't know what wampum is basically like a colorful garment or fabric, and they exchange that, and to know that, hey, this is what we're gonna do. We're in alliance with one another. All right. I should have made an image for that. I didn't make an image of it, but I kind of skipped over that. Didn't mean to, but yeah, kind of get the image in your head that we're exchanging a treasure amongst each other, an article of such, and this is to show that, hey, you have my back and I have your back against whoever we're going against. And it says, when all was ready, a hatchet or other weapon painted red was sent as an intimation to the enemy of what was in store. All right. So I do have an image of that right there. So I'm going to hang back and going forward to this illustration. All right, y'all. So this is pretty much what it would look like. A warrior was sent from one tribe to the opposition tribe and was given, the red hatchet. So, this is what it is. Once you got that hatchet in your hand, or once you were handed that hatchet, you kind of already knew, like, hey, this is what it is. And so this particular image, you can see like a chief basically painting the hatchet and giving it to his warrior. And it's like, hey, go ahead and take it to the tribe, on the other side. Let them know, it's on. It is what it is. And you see that look like, hey, it's time. You know what I mean? And so he's going to take this hatchet from the chief and he's going to go and deliver that to the opposing tribe. You feel me? All right, so that's what it's going to be. Okay, I don't need my shoes, baby. I'm making a video. Go ahead and close the door. I like it. Yeah, close the door for me. Yeah. Thank you. All right. But yeah, this is what it basically would have looked like. So we're gonna go ahead and get back on or go forward to the text. See how this plays out. Alrighty. It says, we are told that the reception of this ominous token frequently excited such rage in the minds of those whom it was sent, that in the first transports of their fury, a small party of them would issue forth without waiting for permission from the elder chiefs, and slaying the first of the offending nation they met, cut open the body and stick a hatchet in the same kind as that they had just received into the heart of their slaughtered foe. See? So I didn't make no image of that, so don't worry, y'all ain't got to see none of that stuff, but this is how serious it got. You don't think that, somebody just gonna walk up in there and just give them that, and then how our people act, man. You know how our people get, and you already know. It's just you coming up. That's kind of like coming up in somebody's house and disrespecting their house. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm coming up to where you are and I'm letting you know what I'm about to do to you. So what you gonna do? You gonna get them before you get got, right? That's how some of our people acted back then, and that's how some of our people act right now. I mean, some call it the gangster mentality. Some call it, call it what you want. Call it being a thug or whatever. But this this kind of this kind of behavior was already in our DNAs, in our code. We didn't tolerate any kind of disrespect on any level. You feel me? So going forward, when weary with the war, so after the war done happened, everything done went down. Either party desired to terminate hostilities. The message was sent under the protective influence of the calumet or pipe of peace, which, like a flag of truce among other nations, everywhere secured the person of those who bore it. All right, we're gonna pause for the cause. We're gonna show you a little something. Alrighty, y'all. I had to take care of some business, but we're here now. Um, so this is what the peace pipe would look like for the most part. Um, this is a genuine rendition of what a peace pipe would have looked like back then. Um, so when, like I said, when they brought that, when they bore that in their hands and they're coming, that's how you knew it was a sign of peace. You know what I mean? This was like the symbol of peace right here. That's when you knew that, okay, things need to be squashed, or it's kind of like a ceasefire. Hey, let's talk it out. Let's settle this. Let's bury the hatchet, as you will. And then that term, would be actually brought forward as well about burying the hatchet. That's a popular term that's used to squash beef and stuff. And little to be known, and a surprise for most people, is that that was actually our term to begin with, burying the hatchet. We did that. That's what we actually physically did that. As I just told you about the hatchet that was coated in red, that was painted red and was given as a sign of war. You'll see later on that that very same hatchet will be buried. But this is before that even goes down. You need to present this. You need to come with this in hand. That peace pipe. And so I'm gonna give you an AI rendition of I what I tried to come up with AI, but my AI is so limited, man. It's like AI as a whole is just really limited. It's a massive leap into a good direction, and at the same time, it's like still limited in its primitive technology. So, here I'm gonna give y'all the best that I could come up with, because a lot of these prompts and everything is real sensitive. You got to be real choicey with the words you put and everything. So, because they try to get you on some BS. Oh, you can't say this or you can't say that. So, but here we go. So this is basically the best that I could come up with. But just keep that last peace pipe in mind that I just showed you. When they come with the peace pipe in hand and they're bringing it to the opposition, it's like, okay, hey, all right, we both agree that this war has been going on too long, you know. So let's spark this up and let's talk it out, you know. And that's, you can see that a lot in our culture today. Not a lot of some of us, not a lot of us, choose to uh, still use tobacco, and then there's some of us that, you know, some of us, not a lot of us, that decide that, well, we can make a little alternative to tobacco, but that's still that peace that passes all understanding. You know what I mean? So, when we spark it up and we light it up and we pass it amongst each other, that peace is about, it's peace throughout the land. Ain't nobody trying to get rowdy and do nothing crazy. So let's go on forward to the passage. Yeah. So it says right here, this pipe, so widely celebrated and of such universal use, was most elaborately carved and bedecked. So, like I showed you, decked it out, carved it, It says each nation had its own peculiar style of ornament for this all important symbol. So not all of them looked the same, which was known to all the neighboring tribes, but you knew it when you seen it. You feel me? And it says a solemn and ceremonious smoking of the calumet formed the token of ratification to every treaty. When used at the conclusion of a peace, well, before I even go to that, let's look at the image that I generated for that ceremony. All right, so after the pipe has been brought, they come in and everybody is partaking, and it's just a all around good time. Everybody is just enjoying themselves. They talk that piece, and they know that hey, what's done is done. You know what I mean? Everybody is just sitting down, relaxing, and it's like the war's over. You know what I mean? So once they come to the stipulations and the conclusion of what's going down, it's like, look, we done fought each other. There's been some casualties here. There's been some casualties on our side. And when it's all said and done, this needs to be done, this needs to be done, and this needs to be done. We need to respect each other on our demands. For each demand, each side they say they piece, they smoke they piece, and they say they piece, and then they put it up in the air. It's like smoking the wind at that point. You know what I mean? The beef is over. The fighting and everything is ceased. Everybody's cool. Everybody understand. Everybody on the same page, and then they move on to the next part of the ceremony of ending the war with one another. All right, so it says a solemn and ceremonious smoking of the calumet formed the token of ratification to every treaty. All right, so it says when used at the conclusion of a peace, the painted hatchet was buried in the ground, and belts of wampum so figured and arranged as to commemorate the essential articles of the Pacific Agreement were presented to be kept as a perpetual memorial. All right. So on that note, we'll end it right here because it gets into a little bit more of what they did with captives and things of that nature. But for time's sake, we're gonna end it on that note, and I'm just gonna forward you to this last image that I was gonna show y'all here. All right, y'all. So this is what would have ultimately what it would have ultimately came down to, the burying of the hatchet. Like I said, my AI is real limited, but I did the best I could. As you can see in the background there, this is what the wampum would have looked like. This back here, and that was held as a memorial. It showed the signification and the symbolizing of the burying of the hatchet. It was something there to commemorate the treaty. And then you have warriors and the chiefs on both sides, participate. You got tribal members on both sides participating basically in burying the hatchet and thus ending the war. So not everything was all savagery and barbaric. We all had order. We all had a specific order in how we lived amongst each other, how we were harmonious with one another, and how we warred against each other. We had an order, we had a tradition, we had a culture. Each one be different, but at the same time, we all knew where each other was coming from at the end of the day. Because it was universal things such as the peace pipe, such as the hatchet, that you even see today. You even see that today. When we bring that peace pipe, when we call them blunts now. We call them, smoking the herb, and things like that. When we bring that to one another, we know that it's just all about peace and having a good time. We don't necessarily be warring with each other, but at the same time, if there was a war or something like that, or something did break down, between a family member and another, or two Nijis that was cool at once, but then they was going back and forth at it. What do? We get together and we function. You know what I mean? And we do it in our own different kinds of ways, but for the most part, it's universal amongst our people. We know where each other are coming from. And that's how it was back then. And this is specifically how these particular Indians got down. So the burying of the hatchet represented the ultimate end all when it came to warring against one another. That was the treaty. And the wampum was put up as a signification and symbol of what was once something that was horrendous and detrimental has turned into something that is beautiful, which is peace, which is a treaty and an agreement amongst, at one point, two warring tribes. So at the end of the day, we all came together and we got over our differences. And that's what we need to do today. You have so many people such as, those who want to claim that they're Indians, and then those who don't want to claim that they're Indians, those who want to be, they want to claim that they're Israelites, and those who claim that they're Moors, and those who claim that, they just black, and, those, you got Pan-Africans, you got different kinds of, but at the same time, when it comes down to the DNA, we are all Niji. We are all indigenous to this land. We're all Aborigines. And eventually, it's going to have to come to a point where we got to put aside our differences. Not saying that it ain't going to be no war. Not saying it ain't going to be no bloodshed. I'm not saying any of those things. And I'm not promoting or inciting any of those things. But yet, rather, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, whether the hatchet is picked up or not, it's going to have to be buried. And we got to have to come to a mutual agreement amongst all of ourselves in order to move forward to the next step. All right. So thanks again, everybody, for tuning in, listening this far. If you've made it to the end of this video, please make sure that you show your appreciation and support by liking and subscribing to my channel. I'm doing the best I can to get these out here. There's definitely more content to come. For those who were my day ones and those that have been, on board for a while, I appreciate y'all bearing with me with these, last couple of weeks of me making the transition with my internet. So, that's all said and done now. I'm going to be pumping out more videos at a more higher rate, and just be looking for more content. And don't forget to share these videos. Share. Share these with your family members, your friends, your loved ones. Anybody that you can that you feel that would really appreciate this knowledge and information. And continue to seek these sources out. I give you my sources all the time. You can go back to the beginning of the video, look and see what those are, and keep reading. Read ahead, go deeper, do what you got to do. I'm just giving you guys cuts and glimpses, and I'm giving it to you guys as it is. So, and then just putting my little spin, like these illustrations and stuff with it. But anybody can do what I'm doing. So, with that being said, I really appreciate you guys rocking with me, showing me the support and appreciation that you guys have. I and my family truly appreciate it. So on that note, I'll say Chief Steve signing out. Tata Kista, I appreciate you all. And Yokoki, thank you.